Welcome to the Ljubljana podcast, the place to come for travel and food tips, cultural highlights, insider stories, and chats with locals. It's everything you need to know about Slovenia's beloved capital city. I'm your host, Slovenia's ambassador of tourism, Noah Charney. Let's fire it up. This podcast is not only about Ljubljana, but also about interesting folk who live in Ljubljana. And it doesn't get any more interesting than Slovenia's most beloved musician, Vlado Kreslin. Kreslin is a national institution in Slovenia, having achieved the status of folk hero. Songs from his albums and based on his published poetry have inspired films and novels. I could describe him as Slovenia's answer to Bruce Springsteen or Bob Dylan. In fact, he opened for Dylan in a concert. And that would give you a sense of how universally popular he is. Everyone from teenagers to grandparents. Everyone knows and appreciates his songs. And one thing that everyone can agree on is the transcendental power of words and music.
A se zvezda tam na vodi blešči, zvezda tam na vodi blešči, ne to je venec zvezdavi na tvoji glavi, to ni zvezda, ki se v vodi blešči. Dekle moje, pojdi z menoj, dekle moje, pojdi z menoj, dol ob reki v tisti beli obleki, dekle moje, pojdi z menoj.
Much record player.
I don't have a record player at home, but I should.
You should.
And I had to explain to my kids what a CD is because they'd never seen it before. This is how old we are. I used to make mixtapes, cassettes that you make for your sweetie, and you put all your favorite songs in a special order to give her a secret message. And that really dates me.
I'll show you something. You know who was sending me mixes of music? Who was sending me?
Yeah.
Charles
Simic
was sending me.
You're kidding.
Yeah, yes.
That's
He mixed folk music and I sent him my records.
That's cool.
Yeah.
See, those were the days. Now, actually, this is a good question for you. We used to listen to whole albums, like whole thoughts from beginning to end.
Absolutely.
And even if you didn't like every song, you would listen through it. And it would take you on a journey. Nowadays, we can have any song we want immediately, and we tend to listen to just the songs we already know we like, or that an algorithm thinks we like. What are your thoughts on that?
Even worse. Well, it's absolutely bad. It's killing imagination. It's shortening our thoughts, shortening our mind, shortening our everything. Yeah, of course. You knew the whole story, and there are LPs here. You put two weights on, and then you listen to 25 minutes.
Exactly.
Which was A side A, and then put B side or another A side of the other author. It's like we don't have no more patience. I'm sad for the young generations. I sometimes see on concerts that people are only waiting for the chorus, They don't have nerves for the verse,
Yeah. Yeah.
If I exaggerate,
Yeah, sure.
when there is a verse, they go to the bar,
Yeah.
I don't know where does it lead,
Yeah, we have ever shortening attention spans. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And does it make you think to write in any different way, or do you still think of writing as whole albums?
Well, I'm old timer, so I want to really change how, I want to do the songs from choruses. I also write verses, Well, now I have already 3 vinyl LPs, double LPs actually, and I still do CDs.
Mm-hmm.
I still do CDs. Yet now I don't. 30 years ago we went to the studio. We were there 3 weeks and put all the new stuff on the CD.
Mm-hmm.
And the CD went to the shops, and everybody. It was people bought it, but now no one buys it, So Actually, you do the CDs for you for, here and there after the concert.
Yeah.
After the concert, someone buys it, of course, still. But this is a lot less, So now, you actually do, most of us, we do, songs, like so-called singles.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Once, twice a year, you make, singles, and then you put it maybe. And then you have yet another bunch of songs, you record them, and then you put all on the video, on the CD or something.
Okay.
It's changed a little bit, of course.
When you listen to music at home for fun, do you still go back to your vinyl, or do you do things like Spotify, like the younger generation does?
I have all these Spotify and all this stuff, but I never use it. I'm always a little bit it's quite for me quite a bad question, because when they ask me what do you listen to when you're at home, I said I listen to silence. More and more, really.
Yeah.
Really. But I love to listen to music when I drive.
Okay,
when
yeah.
I drive, and I very, very. I drive every week. I drive to Prekmurje to see my parents.
Sure.
And then I listen to music.
Sure.
Mostly on YouTube or something like that. But then I have a lot of stuff which I have to listen, which my friends send it to me. This is a friend the guy from United States, Douglas Linton.
Mm-hmm.
I met him in Vienna. He just sent me a new record. He lives in Vienna.
Oh, nice.
And I still didn't listen to it, So
that's good.
a lot of this. This is another lot of my drummer from my band also had a CD, and I still didn't listen to it. So I even listen to the music of my friends.
These days, listening to CDs has become something you only do when driving, because so many people, only their car has a CD player.
Yeah, if you had an old car.
Yeah.
I have an old space, which, the new cars don't have it. But I have one CD player,
Okay.
so I can listen. Here,
It's a little funny for me to be interviewing you here in English in Slovenia, because in Slovenia, you're literally a household name, and also everyone knows most of your stories and your origin story. But for foreigners coming to Slovenia for the first time, most of them will probably have heard of you because you're in guidebooks. You're mentioned as someone you should listen to if you come here. Any Slovene who you ask for a recommendation of the best Slovene music will say Vlado Kreslin. But can you, I can tell you that. That's happened in my experience. Can you tell our listeners how you got started, for example?
Well, now I live in Ljubljana since 1972, but when I came studying to Ljubljana, but I was born up there north, Prekmurje, which is flatlands near between Austria and Hungary. And I was growing up in a house. Actually, I started growing up. I started growing up in the restaurant of my grandfather, and this restaurant was a real joint in Beltins, cultural joint, because it was a restaurant where the band was playing every Saturday, every Sunday. The band of the guys with violins, with clarinets, with all this stuff, Middle European stuff, And there was a billiard. There was a
bowling.
There was the bowling, and that's not all. There was a theater hall for theater plays, and I was I was hiding there. I was watching the things, and it was working till 1963, I think. Then it broke down because the guy died, and no one wanted to carry on. But I remember when I was this big place with the restaurant, with all this stuff, in this house building, 2 rooms and a kitchen and apartment was my father got it. So my sleeping room was next to the last room of the restaurant. And this last, so famous, notorious last room, there were always gigs, So when I was lying in my cradle, I heard boom, 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 of these people who played there. And this guy was playing there. This one.
Samo Jožek.
Yeah, Jožek was playing
Yeah.
there, you know. I'm talking about 55, 54, 50, you know, 56.
Yeah.
Because I'm born 53, you know. And fortunately, 40 years later, I played with these guys, you know, with the same guys, Bertnička Banda. So those were the time where I moved from rock and roll to a little bit more, you know, ethno work music, you know. So,
if someone has not yet heard your music,
yeah.
is there an album you think they should start with or a song they should start with?
Well,
The gateway drug.
yes. Well, the album probably The Bird, Ptič. Ptič is one of the albums, which Ptič came out 2000. But of course, I have former things which came out. Instead of Whom Does the Flower Bloom is the LP, which came out 91. 91 is also an album. It's Namesto koga roža cveti.
If we go back in time, what was your big breakthrough that let you be a musician full-time?
I decided to be a full-time musician quite late, you know, because I was a teacher and different stuff. And it was, I think, about 92 or even 92, I guess, when I quit my job. Because this is a nice story why I quit the job. I was sitting somewhere in a zoo with my friend Viputnik, Matjaž Viputnik, who was the author of most of my LPs, graphic. He was actually the best graphical and architect and, you know, designer and things. And we were sitting there, and he knew the guy who was owner of that pub. And this guy from that pub was some Bosnian guy. And he didn't know me, actually. He knew my music, but that he asked, so what do you do? He didn't know me. He kind of knew the music. And so what do you do? You're the Vlado. Yes. First he asked me, what do you do? And I said, what do you do? I go to work. But you have all these songs. I said, yes, but I go to work. So you go to work you want to say to me that you go to work at 8 o'clock and then you stay there till 3 p.m. and then you come home and you write a song like Namesto koga roža cveti at 6:30. And I said, yes. Are you stupid? Leave the job and only write such songs. And next day I quit. Next day I quit my job, you know. So it was quite late. I was 40 years or something, you know, almost 40.
And after you quit your job, how long did it take before your music caught on and you were having regular gigs?
It caught before.
Okay. Yeah, it was already.
It caught in the end of 80s. It caught.
You know. Was the end of 80s? Was that with Martin Krpan?
Yes.
Okay.
Martin Krpan, we were quite big, you know, we were quite popular, and we played quite a lot. But then we actually quit. We quit in June 91 when we opened for Bob Dylan, you know. We opened for Bob Dylan, and then I don't know if it's a joke or it's not a joke, but I said, what more can we do?
It can only go downhill from here.
What can we do? It's a bottom, you know. But actually, at that time, I was very in love with these old guys in Bertnička Banda, you know. So I actually was a little bit fed up with rock and roll, and I wanted to get in touch with my roots, with my country, with music from my country, you know, from my region, you know.
Could you describe what Slovenian music is like, or is that too broad a question? There's no specific way to identify it.
Well, Slovenian is Slovenian, like, you know, when everyone who comes to Slovenia notices that it's like my guy from United States, he said, why are you always telling me, this is a guy from Denver, I had some, Paul said, why are you Slovenes always think that Slovenia is small? And I said, well, I'm not, but people, they do it. I said, but you say it's small. I must admit, it is not wide, it is not long, but Vlado, Slovenia is deep, so it's not small. And I said, you're right.
Good line.
You're right. It's a good line. But so everyone who comes to Slovenia notices that we have, you know, flatlands, that we have Alps, that we have sea, that we have some Bela Krajina, you know. It's so different regions, so different feeling. I mean, and the music is also so very different. That's why I actually started with these old guys, which we used to play 70 years ago back in my father's, grandfather's and father's restaurant, because they played the music which was actually seldom or never heard in capital Ljubljana, with all these cymbals and, all these blue note, a little bit, Hungarian touch, Middle European touch, So I wanted to, deliberately I did it, I wanted to bring this music to whole Slovenia, So Slovenia, this music from my region is totally different than the music from Alps. Music from Alps is totally different than the music from the Adriatic, Koper, when we don't have a large coast, but we have some 35 kilometers. But the feeling is there.
Yeah.
I mean, feeling is there. Italy is there. Italy is there. Croatia is there. All this, all these influences are making a very different flavors of music.
It's a little bit of a chicken and the egg question, because now if you ask most Slovenes what is Slovene music, they would say you. But now you're telling me that you that when you first got started, that you were finding what were different flavors that were already present, and maybe you helped popularize it. Maybe that's the best way to describe it. But people wouldn't have necessarily listened to Prekmurje music if they came from Ljubljana, and you helped
we did
introduce it.
We did, because when we came to Ljubljana, I've had some essays and friends and colleagues and said, this is quite funny. What is it? I mean, Vlado, he did quite good music with his band, but what is this now? But and in 1 year and half a year, we had a sold out national concert hall, Sankara Dome, and since then, 35 years, we are selling out every year 3 concerts, so it's a big thing. I mean, it's a big thing that people started to, Prekmurje, this is now, language is a little bit different, food is different, everything. And Prekmurje is now quite a, so people like it. I mean, people like to go there, and it's quite fancy, actually.
Is Gostilna Central anything today like it was when you grew up?
No. Because in 1963, my father was growing up in this restaurant, and it was, if he will take it over, and he said, I was growing up in such a big restaurant. This is a way of life. It's not just having this. It's too much. This is it's a big burden, too big a burden, to carry. I mean, it really is. So now then they sold it to, some chocolate.
Sure. Okay.
Things like that, and butcher and
So is there anything for people to visit if they go to Beltinci now, if they want to do like the Kreslin Trail? Is there any place that you would point them to that is part of your history that they can still visit?
Well, I'm not sure. But in my home house, when I was born, is a restaurant now. A restaurant, Tonček. So it goes on, But we have a very beautiful castle, and then Prekmurje is Goričko, a little bit. We have a little bit hills, it's very beautiful, and we have this big river, Mura, which every second song of mine is about this river, And I also live in an old house near that river, when I'm home, and it's everyone says in Slovenia. I mean, people from the other parts of Slovenia, from more middle and capital, that pan goes a little bit more slow in Prekmurje, which is probably...
That's a good thing these days.
Yeah, it's probably true.
I'm often asked where I recommend staying in Ljubljana. My answer is easy: Hotel Mrak. Hotel Mrak is my home away from home in Slovenia's capital. It's a family-run, elegant boutique hotel with a perfect location, right in the pedestrian-friendly heart of the city. You can easily walk anywhere from Hotel Mrak. Like me, it's got an artsy vibe, and it also has an epically good breakfast that is worth a journey. Take a look for yourself at hotelmrak.si. That's hotelmrak.si. So last question for you. I'm going to tell in my voiceover about when you came to Yale and came to visit us. We had a concert there, but maybe you could just tell the story about Ruth, because that's a fun story linked to a foreigner who's enthusiastic about you.
This is a very fun story. 15 years ago, 12, I don't know. 12 years ago, I received an email. Hello, Mr. Kreslin. I found your song on the internet. Where could I get your CDs? And I said, wow, you will hardly. She wrote from Dallas, Texas. And I said, the easiest way would be if I said it. Actually, I just sent it to her. I said, there. And after, I don't know, 1 week, 2 weeks, she said, what did she say? It's such a great music that, yeah. She said that her husband asked her what does she want for a Christmas present. And she said that she would like to go to Europe to listen to this guy, to this singer. Where is it? Slovenia, where is it? It's in Middle Europe, okay. And they bought airfares and the stuff. But then he had to go somewhere on business, and they canceled it. This were the concert in some kind of this, what I was talking about. This concert hall, These are really
the big national
prestigious concerts. That were really, I mean, it really, it has everything.
It's like the Kennedy Center.
Yeah, like the Kennedy Center. Yeah, that's it. And we really do it, and we do all these 3 sold out, and And they couldn't come, and it's always around my birthday, end of November, beginning of December, which is already then this December feeling, and it's really for whole Slovenia is kind of holiday, for my fans. Yeah. They come from all Slovenia, and they couldn't come, and she said, we couldn't come, and I said, what a shame you couldn't come. But when is your next concert? She wrote, And I said, my next concert is in January, but it is not so shiny, like it was in San Dome.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Where is it? I said in Kran, in some small club, Small club with maybe me alone, or I don't know. In some small club. And she said, we will come. I said, but it will be, doesn't matter. We want to be there. And I said, okay. And I got the fares again, and the concert will be, 15th of January. And there were big floods in Slovenia. And that club was in Kranj near the Sava River, and it was underwater, and of course it was cancelled. So I had to write to her, I'm so sorry, what a shame, we were in floods, the place is in water, everything cancelled, Oh, and she said, what can we do? And we have these tickets, and And I was reading this from the email, and my wife was cooking something out there, and I said, hey, but they are not coming. I mean, they are so sorry they cannot come because Ruth is so sorry. We already became friends through the internet. She started to learn Slovene and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, of course. And I said, they are so sorry they cannot come. And my wife was cooking, and she said, well, write to her that they should come. I will cook something for them. And I wrote, why won't you come? My wife will cook something for you. In 2 days, they were here sitting on the couch, really and I had a concert for them.
A private concert.
Wow. And she was singing with me my song. She didn't understand nothing. And she was singing. I was looking, what are you singing? What are you song? Well, yeah, no, she was
just pronouncing,
it was so crazy, And then they stay here a few days, and then I later in the year or next year, I don't know, I had a concert, some small tour in the United States. I went to Cleveland. They came to Cleveland. They came to Washington. I back to Washington, and then they came to Slovenia and stayed here, once she came alone, then she came with her husband. We went to Prekmurje, and she was learning Slovene. She knew everything. She fell in love in Slovenia and all this stuff. And then one day, after 3 years or something like that, we were sitting somewhere, I don't know, in States or in Slovenia, she said, she was actually a writer, amateur writer, writing plays, playwrights. And I would like to write a book about you. I said, oh my God, Ruth, don't be silly. Yes. I want to, I have to, I will. And then I was thinking a few days, and I said, well, maybe because it was interesting, to have her in Slovenia, her American state of mind, It is always these cultures, get together. It's, you know, when you came here. Yeah, it's so funny. And I said, all right, you will actually, I took her everywhere in Slovenia, of course.
Yeah.
You actually now know something about Slovenia. You will write actually a book about me and about Slovenia through my eyes, or through your eyes, through mine, and you know, through double, you know. Yeah. And so she, with my help, I gave her high hints, what to, you know, which things to, you know, to take in, you know. And in 1 year, she wrote that book, and this book came out in the United States, you know. It's on Amazon. Then we translated it in Slovene, and it came out, we translated from England, you know. Slovene cool. Came out in Slovenia. And well, a very funny story. I mean, really great story.
It's a testament to the fact that your music appeals to everyone. It's universal.
Yeah, actually, the main point. Then I asked, how did you find me? Well, I saw this song, Roulette, by chance. And it's here and there. You know, it's a funny thing. I don't like duets, but I have a lot of them. You know, I have a lot of them, but I don't like them, you know. Duets can be so sugary, you know, sugar, honey, you know. But I have a lot of them, and this one is also, most of them are, I mean, all of them are quite, I'm okay with all of them, you know. I'm not ashamed of any, you know. And he said that he saw this duet with some Croatian guy, with a great friend of mine, Shajata, you know, he's from Istria. He's a musician, he's a singer, he's a stand-up comic, he's a really charming guy. And we made one song together, and said, it just opened for me, you know. It opened, and then I saw one beautiful guy, which is him. He's 20 years younger than me, beautiful blonde guy with blue eyes, and so beautiful. And I saw him, and he started singing. And I said, this is sugar, honey. I want to watch that, you know. And I wanted to click to go on. And then I heard the song, you know. Then I heard a sound. Ooh, what is this sound? Because someone else started to sing. And she saw me. And she said, oh, which is this? Yeah, first she saw me because the camera goes on me, you know, and said, what is it, old guy, the bald guy, the old guy? This I will cut it off. I will cut, you know. And then she heard my voice. And she said, "Whoa!" No. And this voice took her in, you know. So she started exploring my music.
So what you lack in hair, you make up for in voice.
Yeah. Probably.
Hey, Vlado, thank you so much for spending some time chatting with us. This is great.
Yeah, thank you.
A chat with Kreslin is really the best way to get to know his personality. That and listening to his music, of course. He has many albums, but the one I recommend is a 3-CD set. Remember when people listen to music on CDs? Called Concert. It's a live concert recording, and the one that I had forever in my car until cars stopped coming with CD players. But since you're most likely to listen to music on a streaming service, then have a listen to Od višine se zvrti, Iz goričkega v Piran, and Namesto koga rože cveti. Kreslin kindly gave us permission to play a song at the end of this episode to give you a taste of what he's all about. When you come to Ljubljana, seeing Kreslin in concert is just about the best thing that you could do with your ears. I go every year and get goosebumps each time. He is Slovenia incarnate, truly a legend, and more importantly, a really nice guy. We'll send you out with my favorite of Kreslin's songs, Od višine se zvrti, Vertiginous from the Heights, which is the most beautiful love song I know.
Sai non more biti res. Ninda več sai non more biti res. Krila sem se mi stopila od slovu. Nikoli več ne poleti na ne in nikoli ne znam, da sem samo pa ti. Z mojih, ki že toliko let visijo nad menoj. Saj že mama govorila je, da z višine se ne vidi vse, da nikda ne izveš, da so samo poti. Smebljaki, ki že toliko let smejijo se s teboj. Od tišine se zvrti, skrime v svojo mehko dlan, svojo toplo dlan. Vzemi me na svojo stran, skrime v svojo dlan. Lahko mi vrneš kar teče nocoj. Počele, da me vidijo s teboj. Krila so se mi stopila od strahu. Poleti meni in nikda ne izveš, da so samo papir. Smehljaji, ki že toliko let smejijo se z menoj. Od višine se zvrti, počele, da me vidijo s teboj. Lahko mi prneš karto še nocoj, očala, da me vidijo s teboj. vidijo s teboj, da me 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 vidijo s
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Ljubljana Podcast. The Ljubljana Podcast is brought to you by Hotel Mrak, the best boutique art hotel in the center of Ljubljana. This podcast is produced by Urshka Charney and hosted by Noah Charney. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.